I made a part 1 to what I'm talking about today on YouTube. And so I'm just going to recap that a little bit and then go into, I just had a recent discovery, like there was more. There was more that I didn't cover. So I'm going to talk about that today. So I'm just going to recap part 1 just a little bit. So part 1, this was like the big like self-realization that I had when I got cheated on and like before my healing journey. And I asked myself, I was like, why do I keep attracting this into my life? And what came up for me, like intuitively, like I just got it in like my gut wisdom, you know, like I was like asking myself, well, what do I do that has this energy of this cheating energy? And I realized like I love attention. Like I need attention, and like I needed it really badly, like before my healing journey. And the reason is because I was not accepting this part of myself that needed attention or that desired attention. And I thought that there was something wrong with me for wanting attention, because like when I was younger, like my mom, like, and no hate to my mom didn't mean to hurt me or hurt my feelings or anyway, but it did. It hurt my feelings when I was a kid. And my mom, like I would go to my friend's house and I would just be so like, I would not want to leave. And she'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you like this? And I would just like, I don't know. Am I broken? Like there's something wrong with me. So I tried to shove this part of myself that wanted attention down and like tried to shame myself for it. Like I would tell myself that it's not good. And that was not true. But anyways, this created an attention-seeking habit or tendency that I had. And so basically, I was just so codependent and attached in my relationships that I needed their attention all the time, but it was still not enough, even when I was in a relationship. So I would never physically or verbally cheat on any of my partners, but I would mentally, in a way, kind of cheat on them. Like I didn't do it on purpose. This was all like subconscious. And I go into full detail about this in my video on YouTube for part 1. But basically, like I was unintentionally, like, so if other people hit on me while I was in a committed relationship, even though I didn't verbally or physically act on it, in my mind, I loved that I was getting this attention. Like it felt really good to me. And I didn't think that there was anything wrong with it. And I'm not saying that there inherently is anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, when I truly was honest with myself and asked myself, would I want my partner to give a crap if somebody like hit on them while we were in a committed relationship? The answer is absolutely not. So how can I fix this, or how can I address this within myself? And the answer was to give my attention-seeking part of myself what it wants: attention. I stopped shaming that part of myself and I started giving it attention, and I started to acknowledge it. I started to say, okay, you know, you're here, you're a part of me, you're okay. Like, we're okay. Let's work together. So it was no longer in control of me. I created a meditation. I integrated it as part of me and as part of who I was. And then I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and I realized like, and they weren't really relating to that. And I was like, okay, well, there's got to be something else more, because that might not be everybody's thing. They might not everybody's going to have an attention seeking part of them that they've like shamed for years, and now it's out of control, and you can't really control your wants and your needs and like your fantasies and whatever. So I was like, okay, so what else is it? There's got to be more to it. And I realized, so the lack of commitment in my relationships that was there, like the lack of commitment that people had for me in our relationships, I believe greatly stemmed from my lack of commitment to myself. So what that means is I was a glass half full. I didn't take care of myself. I didn't really give a shit about myself. So what was happening is I was attracting people who felt the same about themselves. They were also a glass half full. They were not committed to their self-care, their self-love. They weren't committed to themselves at all. And neither was I. So therefore, why did I ever expect to get into a relationship where we could commit to each other 100%, where it was going to be fruitful, a loving, fruitful relationship if we couldn't even commit to ourselves? We had no self-love, no self-care, nothing. And that also created codependency and toxic habits in our relationships where we used each other to feel validated and to feel worthy. And if the expectations were high, and if they were not met, then that could crumble both of us. And that could cause, the threat of cheating, or not even the threat of cheating, just the act of it, whether it's from them or me. And in my first video, I described that I thought I was better than my partners because I would not physically or verbally cheat on people, like on my partners. It would just be like a mental, like, oh, this feels good kind of thing if somebody would hit on me while I was in a relationship with somebody. But I thought that was better than them because they would physically or verbally cheat on me, whether I caught them texting people, or they admitted to me that they had slept with somebody else or did something with somebody else, or I caught them after the fact. So either way, they were physically cheating on me, and I just thought that I was better because I had some sort of moral line where I drew the line. Neither are right. They're both equally wrong now in my book, and I am finally been honest with where my part was and like what I did. Like I said, I just thought that I wasn't doing anything wrong, and it was subconscious. It was just, I just kind of thought, well, everybody probably feels good when they get hit on. But the case is, when I asked myself, when I decided to be honest with myself, is it okay if your partner is mentally like okay with somebody hitting on you while you're in a committed relationship? No. It's not okay to physically, it's not okay to verbally, and it's not okay to mentally cheat in my book. I don't want to be with somebody who's going to feel that way. I want somebody to give themselves the attention that they need so that I'm just kind of an extra bonus. And they don't need anybody else because they've got themselves, number one, and then they've got me if they've got me, or they're single and they've got themselves, which is where I had to become now. I'm good. With or without anyone, I'm good on my own. That's where I had to be before I could move into the next relationship, or the same cycle was going to repeat. We were going to be codependent. We were going to determine our worth based off of each other's crap that we would say to each other, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're whatever. And then also our validation of whether we're good people or not because of what they say. You have to know that for yourself. You have to be committed to yourself. You have to be a full cup. And then you will attract another full cup, somebody who is confident in themselves. They're already self-validated. They already have self-worth. They've already built themselves up. And then you attract that same level, and you guys are just bonus love, bonus, whatever. You don't need, but you're fine on your own. I was not fine on my own. That was my problem. I was not fine. I was not committed to myself. I was not loyal to myself. I did not love myself. I did not take care of myself. And I needed attention that I was shaming down. And I'm sure that there's probably more, so there might be a part 3 to this. But those were the two huge parts that I've realized in my healing why I kept getting cheated on. And it was just because I'm no different than the people that I was attracting. We were the same. We were half full cups, and we need attention. That was me, and that was my partners. And that's just how it was. They needed attention. They didn't love themselves. I understood it. I have compassion for them because that was me. I needed attention, and I didn't love myself. And we didn't know any better. These were all of our subconscious, we didn't mean to do this. This is just, when we have painful experiences in our life, mine was when my mom was kind of like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you so attached to your friends? Why do you need this attention? I thought that something was wrong with me. So I shoved that down, and I put shame on myself and a lot of guilt on myself. And again, I love my mom. That's okay, Mom. You didn't mean to if you watch this. But it hurt my feelings as a child to hear that. And so I brought that into my adulthood, and I created this kind of monster of I was ashamed of myself, and I brought this a very needy attention seeking tendency to all my relationships, and I probably unconsciously put that body language out. So while I was in a relationship, people hit on me just because of my energy that I was putting out, like I needed attention or something. And like I said, I didn't even mean to. It was all subconscious, and I didn't even realize that it was happening until I analyzed my situation and I looked deeper and I started asking myself questions. That is the big thing. We are asking the wrong questions to ourselves, but when we start asking the right questions to ourselves, then we start getting these answers. We start unlocking, we start understanding. But if you got cheated on in a relationship and you didn't, and then you try to move into a new relationship without trying to figure out, like, why did you get cheated on in the first place, and stop blaming the person you were with, like, because that's where I was. I was getting cheated on, and then I was getting out of a relationship. I was like, well, they're just a piece of crap, and I didn't deserve this, and blah, 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 blah. I was just looking at them. They're the problem. And then I would get into a new relationship. Guess what? The same shit would happen over and over again. Just a repetitive cycle of toxic, codependent crap. And then I started finally, the only thing that changed now is I started looking at me. What am I doing? What can I change so that I can be the person that I was meant to be, so I can attract the person I was actually meant to be with, that was going to be loyal, that was going to be committed, that was going to do the things that I want in a relationship. I had to actually, honestly, become the same person that I wanted to be with. And that's why I'm single and will remain single until I feel like I am in alignment with who I'm truly supposed to be. And that's okay. I'm not in any rush, because I'm not rushing anything like that. And so I'm not saying that if you're in a bad relationship, you can't fix it, but I'm just saying if you're in a relationship that you're trying to work on and you're getting cheated on, what can you do to change? And then are they willing to change the same? Can you become a full cup on your own and be good on your own? And can they do the same? All these things. And that might not be it for you, but you got to start asking these questions. You can't say, well, what can you do? You need to go to therapy. You need to do this. You need to do that. You've got to start asking, what can I do to become the person I need to be to have the person that I want to be with in my life? And then if your person really loves you and wants to be with you, they've got to do the same thing for them. You both have to change on an internal level for your relationship to change and stop this cycle. So yes, if you're in a relationship with somebody that's cheating on you or vice versa, you both have something that you need to change. I promise you, it's not just one. So we got to stop blaming each other. We got to start looking in the past. We've got to start asking ourselves some questions. I promise you, once you start digging a little bit and you start, exactly, team effort. It's a team effort. But now if you're single, then you've got all the time in the world. Get off Tinder. Get off Tinder and stop looking for someone new if you have not been working on you, okay? Stop looking for someone new if you've not been working on you, because you're just going to attract the same crap into your life. So this is part 2. Like I said, if I find something else, I'll make a part 3. But if you want to learn more about, like part 1, I go deep into my attention-seeking tendencies. So if you related to that, part 1 is for you. But this, if you missed this was all about being being a half full cup, attracting other half full cups. You're not really committed to yourself. So this is good for that one. So this is also going to go on YouTube, but I thought I'll go live because I needed to go live this week, because I thought that this would be a great topic, because you guys were pretty interested in this conversation. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and related to it. Comment, let me know if something comes up, you start asking questions and you're like, well, I think it's this, message me and I'd love to talk about it. Or maybe you'll spike something else that I realize that is true about cheating. Anyways, comment, message me. I'd love to hear what you guys thought, if you guys related, if this helped. I'd love your feedback. I cherish your feedback. You guys are awesome. I'm so thankful you guys tuned in and watched with me. And I'll see you guys sometime next week.